Hi everyone, welcome to Life Tips by Ning. In today's video, I'm sharing how to analyze a Bazi chart if your daily master is a Yin Water called Gui in Chinese, born in the winter season. Because the dominant element for winter season is also water, and all five elements, right? Both metal and water belong to the Yin side, whereas the wood and fire belongs to the Yang side. And Earth is kind of sit in the middle. It has traits of both yin and yang. And based on this fundamental logic, winter-born in-water people, their biggest issue is too much concentration on the yin side and is lacking on the yang side. So how would that translate into a person's personality is the yin side of maybe overthinking, super sensitive, like they absorb so much information and is in an overwhelming way. That has a negative impact on the person's mental health or kind of happiness, versus the yang side of because it's lacking the yang wood and fire energy, maybe all get stuck in the thinking phase versus translating into action mode, taking action to make your thought become reality. That could be an area for potential self-awareness, for self-improvement. But overall, just this imbalance of yin and yang would be the kind of the number one issue to be focused on. And it not only translates into your personality analysis, but it also translates into the person's Bazi analysis. So out of the 3 months for winter season, especially for December and January, you have a Yang Water and Yin Earth type of earthy branch for position number 6, right? Those are the 2 months that has the number one risk of being too cold and too overly indexed on the inside. So think about it, it's like it has a lot of strengths, especially December. It's a water month. It's the same as my self element, making me super strong. But it's a frozen river. So even though I have a lot of strengths, I'm kind of hidden under this sheet of ice. I'm not showing off my core trait of being flowy, glittering under the sun, right? Being super, it's like a pure and beautiful river flowing through the forest. And its whole purpose of Yin Water is to nourish nourish nature, nourish everything around me. But if it's frozen, it's not gonna be able to achieve its purpose very effectively. That's why the number one thing we want to see for the remaining 6 spots in the Bazi is Yang Fire. Yang Fire represents the sunshine. It solves this big problem of yin and yang imbalance, and it warm up the winter environment and kind of dissolve the ice above the river, so it can reveal back its flowing and glittering nature. So that's why Yang Fire is the number one thing we want to see for winter-born Yin Water people. That's like a preferred element that will make your whole Bazi bring it back to the middle zone versus being too cold and too overly indexed on the inside. But before I move on to November, a major call out here is, okay, we know the reason, the rationale for why Yang Fire is much needed, but you have a disease and you have a medicine. It's a really good sign you have the medicine, but the second requirement is this the dosage for this medicine the right dosage, right? If it's like, let's say, only position number 204 has a Yang Fire, the rest of the Bazi is still kind of the either earth, metal, or water type of element in your chart. It's like, that's unfortunate because you have the medicine, but it's too weak. So it's still not powerful enough to treat the issue at hand. That's why the ideal arrangement of your preferred element is you have a Yang Fire showing up super strong on the top row. On top of it, it has really strong root or supporting system on the bottom row. Like positionally, if it's directly underneath itself, you have either a yang wood or a yang fire, which is all supporters. You'll make this medicine the right dosage and powerful enough to treat the disease. That's why kind of if you have this kind of a very strong placement of yang fire, that would be a good sign that winter-born Yin Water people's bazi is a very good bazi chart, because you have an issue and naturally you have a solution in there. Then you're less reliant on those annual 10-year trend to introduce the wood and fire element you crave. November is a little different because, first of all, the severity of this yin and yang imbalance is not as severe as December and January. And also, what's included in this Yin Water November earthly branch is first is yang water, second is yang wood. Then you really have to fine tune and evaluate which factor is kind of more have the more dominant strength in the entire bazi chart. So in the case, the wood factor in this Yin Water earthly branch, right? If that wood factor is super strong, meaning that not only is embedded here at position number 6, for the remaining 6 spots, you have a lot of wood energy. So what's the relationship between myself, water, and wood? Wood is still something I support and grow, so it takes away my own energy. In that case, you actually want to see quite a bit metal in there to make the bazi balanced. So kind of water supports myself so that I can do a good job generating wood. So that's the whole point of keeping your bazi chart balanced. However, the other scenario is between the ingredients for Yin Water, you have wood and yang wood and yang water. In the case, yang water is the dominant player, meaning that out of the remaining 6 spots, the wood is fairly weak and there are a lot of water. So you come back to this problem of gushing, rushing, cold river, even though the strength is a lot, it's just too cold. In that case, we revert back to this wood and fire partnership to not only kind of balance your overly indexed, super strong daily master back to the middle zone, but also play this critical role of balancing the climate. So it's not overly indexed to the cold, wet inside of things. So November, you have to kind of analyze the situation, and it's very situational, to decide what favorable element should be for your chart. So that's kind of a quick and dirty explanation for winter-born Yin Water people. But before I let you guys go, there's one more takeaway point, is the relationship between Yin Water and Earth. So out of all those 10 different daily masters, the foundational 101 step is to understand their natural state. Like each thing represents a natural phenomenon, and it has its own preferred friends and enemies. For example, like when we talk about the yang metal theory, right? It likes yin fire to melt away the waste around it, versus yin metal, it doesn't like as much fire because it's precious metal. Under a lot of fire, it's going to melt and it's devastating for it. So different type of element has its preferred, organically preferred friend and enemy. For Yin Water, the whole core foundational trait of Yin Water is about pureness. It's about beauty. It's about nourishment. Those are the key words. So unlike yang water, it's a big body of gushing water. It's about strength. It's about power. It's about being very macro level. So that's the difference between yin and yang water. This will drive their natural preference for the earth element. So if the yang water is fairly strong, Of course, you can use earth, especially young earth, to control the flow and redirect it. Young water doesn't mind getting muddy. It's about not overflowing and becoming a flood and become damaging. So earth plays a very critical role to solve that problem. But when we talk about yin water, even though for this winter-born time, you have a higher probability of this yin water being so strong. But even that's the case, using earth is just not the best solution because you're gonna muddy the pretty river. You're ruining the pureness of the river. Even though my self is super strong, the number one preferred solution is actually using wood and fire because it solves this overly cold problem, and then it's a more natural way to kind of balance the bazi without ruining the foundational trait of this daily master. So that's something good to keep in mind. Like analyzing bazi, even though technically there are multiple levers you can pull to solve the problem, but the question is which solution is the most ideal case. That's really, you have to go back to the core of what daily matter you're talking about and what their foundational traits are. So that's kind of a good reminder. So even though in this case the water is super strong, that's why you don't see earth here. You're still seeing wood and fire as the preferred and ideal solution. So thank you guys for watching, and next video I'll share a few case studies. We'll see you next time. Bye.